Hey guys, it's Cho, and I'm back with another interview. As you can see, I'm sitting here with friend to the channel, Natural Chaos. I've invited her back to the channel to discuss a lot of her recent trips around the world, specifically in Korea. So everyone give a warm welcome to Natural Chaos.
Hi guys, nice to be here. Thank you, Cho, for having me.
Of course. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I know that we're both very busy, especially right before the holidays. I know Thanksgiving is right around the corner, and everyone is pretty inundated with a lot of family get-togethers and planning. So we'll jump right into it. For those that are new to the channel, we know who you are. People that are fans of this channel, they know who you are. But if I have any new viewers out there, do you mind just introducing yourself? What do you do on YouTube? What do you do online? Kind of give a quick little rundown.
Of course. Yeah. So, for anybody who's not aware of me, and there's billions of people who aren't, so you're not alone. I have been an online content creator for I think 7 or 8 years now, and it's segued and changed and pivoted whenever I saw content doing better because that's
Mhm.
what you do as a digital creator. You go where people want you to go and you stay true to yourself. So originally I had a baby brand that I manufactured in India and was selling through Instagram back in the day when I was having my 4 kids. So I have 4 little boys. And in that moment in life, I was doing organic baby care from home. Then I got kind of like tired of that, and my kids got older and they didn't need bibs and blankets anymore. And so,
Right.
I started, and during that whole time, by the way, I was taking care of myself professionally at home with
Mhm.
skincare because I had 4 boys in 5 years, no twins, and I hated making appointments, even if I could afford babysitters and all that stuff. It's just a nightmare with
Right.
scheduling and managing it. And so I really got into doing my own chemical peels at home, into microneedling at home.
Hmm.
And those were the 2 videos that when I launched my YouTube channel in 2018, which was Natural Chaos, really put
Hmm.
me on the map.
Right.
And my goal was to be monetized. I launched in June of 2018, and my goal was to be monetized by the end of the year. And sure enough, by December 1st, because of pretty much those 2 main topics that I was sharing, my channel had the watch hours and the subscribers. And it was life changing. A lot of people think that YouTube is one of the harder platforms to make it on. So they like Instagram or TikTok or whatever.
Right.
But for me, I've always found YouTube was where I was able to create and be super valued for my
Right.
video content.
Hmm.
I love long format video.
Yeah.
So to fast forward, I was on YouTube for nearly 3.5 years, and that original YouTube channel was terminated. So it's been 1 year without it. I do
There's a
have an
video about that, y'all. I will link to that video. There's a whole saga about that. Don't even get me started.
drama, drama. Lots of tea, lots of drama with that. So yeah, that didn't mean I was dead in the water. I had other verticals. We have our private app where we do professional skincare there,
Mhm.
and it's DIY, and people can come in and learn and choose to do whatever they want for themselves based on everyone sharing their own personal experiences. I'm on Instagram. I'm a really large Amazon influencer. So, in fact, I just got back from the Amazon Creator Summit in LA this weekend.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I'm a digital online creator who now focuses on skincare to wrap it up.
Right. That's awesome. That's really awesome. So yeah, you've been traveling lately, and what brought you here today is that you were able to visit the Korean Beauty Expo this year, which is super exciting. First off, can you kind of tell us, and the viewers at home, a little bit about what the expo is all about? What is the purpose of the expo? What even is a beauty expo?
Certainly. So, the one that I went to in particular is Korean beauty,
Mhm.
meaning I think they have 3 locations that they do it. One in Seoul, Korea, where I went. One, I think this Christmas in Bangkok, and maybe one in Dubai. I'm not sure about
Mhm.
that third location, at least these promoters. But the idea is that it's all domestic Korean beauty products. So
Mm.
A lot of the beauty products from Korea that we now see, like Laneige and Etude and Innisfree, and I mean, there's just a million. Tony Moly, they all are from Korea. And
Mhm.
at some point, they needed to be picked up by an international buyer and brought to the States and
Mm.
marketed. So it's deep in Korea with skincare. And the Korean Beauty Show is all about showcasing domestic Korean brands.
Okay.
So a lot of the big ones now that we're very familiar with in the US don't even show up to that conference or
Really?
expo.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I was hoping to meet with Laneige. I was hoping to meet with a couple of the big ones that we're aware of, but they don't even do it anymore because they don't have to, because
Okay.
everybody knows them. And so their distribution is so strong now in the
Right.
US, especially a few of them that are in Sephora, that they don't market anymore to the Korean
Mhm.
population because they are global. So
Interesting.
yeah, so it was mostly, it was all domestic Korean brands emerging, and then a lot of maybe like Korean, Japanese, Chinese buyers that
Mhm.
were there, like going to buy for or become distributors in their own
Right.
areas.
That's very interesting. So it's basically like a lot of business opportunities at hand. People are looking to see, you know, you've got people that are trying to market themselves and market their company and their brand, and then you have other people that are looking to invest in these companies and brands. Is that kind of the gist of it?
Right. So for instance, yeah. So for instance, they would have loved if I did distribution, right?
Right.
But I don't essentially. I just influence and let somebody else who is
Hmm.
in the distribution world and loves logistics take care of that. And then as a influencer, affiliate, whatever you want to term it, I just get a percentage of those sales.
Right.
And
Hmm.
that's my preference because it's all hands free.
Your hands are not tied. Yeah, absolutely. That's
And I feel like it allows me to be, it allows me to cover a lot of content, a
hmm.
lot of products, and it doesn't tie me down biasly. I mean, anybody can say, oh, well, if they're giving you a bigger percentage, you might be biased towards that brand. Of course, that is always like an
Hmm.
idea. But to me, it definitely seems like across the board with influencing, the percentage cut seems to be pretty consistent.
Definitely.
And um, and so I feel just better about making content on things that I'm interested in, sharing about things that I'm interested in, and
Hmm.
never feeling personally involved as much.
That's a big differentiation. Yeah, just having that freedom and choice and option, I think is super powerful. And I think it helps you to not become burnt out because you're not personally invested in a company. Like you don't have any skin in the game per se.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, I experienced this early on in my digital career when I had my own baby brand and I was having to post 6 times a day about
Mhm.
colorful bibs.
Yeah.
I was tired of that crap. Like, I did not want to do it. I was annoyed at myself. I hated seeing the stock that we had. I hated feeling the pressure of moving it. And
Right.
so when people say to me, oh, are you going to do your own skincare brand because so many people follow you for skincare? I'm like, no, you don't understand. I do not want to be beholden to my own skincare brand.
Right. Yeah. I'm so happy you touched on that. That's people don't really think about that, but it's very different being an owner and being invested compared to just having the freedom of just like being an influencer and like creating the content that you want to create.
It's very freeing. And you
Yeah.
see a lot of these influencers try to leverage their platforms with a vertical, right? And they'll launch a skincare line. And then all of a sudden, they're always compromised by that skincare line. Their voice
Mm.
is always compromised.
Yeah, it's true. Very true.
And so I feel like my product is the Natural Chaos app. The
Right.
community that we've built, that is my product. That is lucrative. It helps keep the lights on. It helps keep people employed at
Hmm.
Natural Chaos. And that is our product. And I like it in the way that it is because it's community based. It gives a lot of value at a really low rate. And it can easily and always evolve.
Right. And that's the thing that's different about the Natural Chaos app is like you said, it's about community. So, you know, it's easier when the foundation is on education and sharing. It makes it easier.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's great. So getting back to the K Beauty Expo, tell us a little bit about your experience this year. Like, how was it? What was interesting about it? What was exciting? What was disappointing? Give me the
Sure.
whole rundown.
Well, I'm Korean obsessed. Like my name
Hmm.
is Kim. My maiden last name was Park. So like those are like the two main last names in Korea. So I'm
Right.
like supposed to be Korean. And I love everything Korean. I love the Lux lifestyle. I love how they're non-apologetic about girly
Hmm.
concepts. Men are getting their eyebrows done. I mean, and their
Hmm.
nails done. And it's just a fabulous, fabulous country. This is my second time going to Korea. I went right before. Actually, it's crazy. The first trip I took was in 2020 in January. I flew into Korea as
Oh,
Wuhan was locking down.
wow.
Yeah, and so we were fine, but when we came back after that, that's when the world really shut down. So
Hmm.
it wasn't until September 3rd, just a couple months ago, that you were even able to go back to Korea. So as soon as the travel ban in Korea changed and I saw the K Beauty Expo, I think it was October 8th or 9th or something, I was like, I'm
Hmm.
going. So we just booked tickets and went. Because I try to make as much content and leverage anything that I'm doing where I'm spending a lot of money.
Absolutely,
uh,
as you
yeah,
should. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what you do. I mean, I work myself to death to leverage the content.
Hmm.
And so while we were there, we obviously met with long-term friends that I've had,
Hmm.
vendors that sell and support the product in our Natural Chaos app. So
Hmm.
I've spent years developing those relationships in
Right.
person. So we were in their offices with them looking at new stuff, and I was able to film a lot of that. I filmed the Four Seasons Seoul again, which is
Mm-hmm.
like one of my favorite properties in the world to stay at. I love a good Korean spa. So I filmed
Yes, you
that.
do. Yes, you
I
do.
filmed a facial. So yeah, and then I was able to do a couple lives at the K Beauty Expo, and then I have a very in-depth K Beauty Expo Seoul 2022 video on the Spa and Tell channel. And for your viewers who don't know,
Yeah.
Spa and Tell is my new YouTube channel where I'm able to share these kind of travel spa insight adventures.
And let me tell you guys, I've watched this channel. You can live vicariously through Kim's adventures. It is such a luxe experience. I feel like when I'm watching your channel on Sponsel, I'm like, I'm getting a facial too. Like I'm relaxed as well. And it's been really great to watch your content over there. So definitely go and subscribe to her YouTube channel. It's amazing.
That's really kind of you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, as far as disappointment goes or things that stood out, I will say this. I've been to a couple beauty expos
Hmm.
since COVID hit. One was in Vegas last year, and then this year in Korea. And it has been a little lackluster. Like
Okay.
Vegas, I feel like is just the same product, just rebranded. So you're just seeing the same stuff, just with different names on it.
Mm.
And honestly, that's what happens a lot. That's why it's kind of fun to go to Korea and see if any special new thing really pops out, because they essentially take anything in the world and they turn it into some kind of beauty product, and it's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
And so there were some things that stood out. There were these can I even say it? What did we call them? The Y patch, which is like a
I
feminine
saw,
face
yes.
mask.
The Y zone.
um, the Y zone. Yeah, so
We
you
can talk
remember
about it.
everything. Okay. Yeah. So that was one thing that really stood out to me because I had never seen anything like that
Hmm.
before. And I just went back to getting waxed. So before
Hmm.
COVID, I was like regularly getting waxed. And then COVID just, shut down everything. I got out of my
Right.
routine.
Hmm.
And then I was doing a lot of stuff with Bosidin for laser hair removal, which you cannot be waxed in order to do laser hair
Oh,
removal.
okay.
If you didn't know that, yeah,
Did not know that.
you need the follicle embedded in the skin so that the IPL can like kill the color or target the
Oh,
color.
okay. Okay.
So if you rip it out, it's not going to be there.
Okay.
So I feel like I made as much gains at home with laser hair removal as I could.
Hmm.
Laser hair removal is going to be about 70-75% effective, and then everything else is still going to grow no matter what you do.
Gotcha.
So now I went back to waxing. So the fact that I found this Y zone patch, which is like a facial mask, sheet mask for soothing after being waxed down there,
Right.
is kind of amazing.
Yeah. That's Were there any other really interesting, weird products like that that you saw outside of the Y Zone patch?
I'm like searching my mind. There wasn't anything that was like crazy unique like that, was there?
Yeah.
I did have my hair kind of like massaged and washed in this very unique like chair. I think it was
Hmm.
during a live. That was kind of cool, but that wasn't something I could bring home. Um, in the end, Korea has a lot of ampoules, a lot of stuff that I already use, but maybe if somebody hadn't been there before and it was their first time, they would be like,
Hmm.
"Oh my gosh, look at all this PDRN," or "Look at all
Yeah.
this um, snail essence," or whatever. Like, because I have so much of that already, a
Hmm.
lot of those products didn't really stand out to me. Oh, I know. Oh my gosh, where is it? There was this one that said it reduced red. It was more their tagline that got me than anything about their product. Their
Hmm.
tagline was reduce redness on your face and your anus.
Oh,
Can I
that's
even say
right.
that?
Yeah, you can say that. You can say that. No, you're fine. Well, you know what? Listen, sometimes the girls have redness down there, and you've got to get it cleared up.
Yeah, and I didn't know that. I mean, I guess men possibly could too. It's an
Yeah.
area that can get inflamed.
Hmm.
And maybe after being waxed, it could be inflamed too. So I'm going to throw that red reducing cream down there and see what happens.
See what happens. Yeah, that is so funny. That's so funny. Um, so after your visit at the expo, because again, like you said earlier, a lot of brands they start off at these expos, at these trade shows, and they become international best-selling brands. Do you think that there's any brands stuck out to you as like having the potential to make it really big, or any
Yeah, I mean,
products that,
some brands are already kind of on that cusp. So like
okay.
this just happens to be on my table right now. I mean, I'm literally living in product. But Is Tree, you might think it's Innisfree, but it's not. It's called Is Tree.
Okay.
And Is Tree does some really great sensitive skincare products, including this really great SPF 50 skin stick.
Oh, ooh,
And
interesting. Okay.
it's like their number one seller, and they're stocking it now on Amazon in the US.
Okay.
So I could see Is Tree really coming up in the ranks. They're really poised, I feel like, to do that,
Interesting. Okay.
because I think once you get on Amazon, that that is going to help. So for instance, since I'm a Amazon live influencer and I do lives on Amazon
Yeah.
weekly, and because I'm so in the niche of K beauty and skincare, I am very aware when a brand gets market in the US
Hmm.
Amazon area. Another brand that I love that wasn't at the K Beauty Expo, but I met with them, is Easy Do. Easy Do has been a
Easy do.
long term, yeah, long time favorite of mine. They're one of the first products I ever linked to on Amazon when I first started my
Hmm.
YouTube channel, because back then I was micro needling with just products I could find on Amazon. I didn't have
Right.
any of these Korean vendor connections yet. And so they make this amazing EGF serum that come in these little snap ampoules.
Hmm.
So one, every single time you use one is like totally clean and like sterile and ready to like go into your skin.
Absolutely. That's so important.
Yeah, and so Easy Do has been a fabulous brand, and actually they've been super gracious to the people in my app. They do special promo codes for them. They're doing a ton of giveaways this fall, Christmas with them.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
So yeah, if you haven't ever checked out Easy Do, definitely do. They've got a pretty extensive lineup now on Amazon.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. I feel like because Amazon is such a beast when it comes to how many people are purchasing products there too, that once you get on Amazon, it's only a matter of time before people are going to try your products. So,
Yeah, and Amazon, just like all of these other platforms, it's a platform. It's
yeah.
got an algorithm, it's a pay to play situation.
Hmm.
So yeah, sometimes a product will start getting pitched with another product because they're like, hey, people who bought this also bought this. And then all of a sudden it
Yeah.
starts rising in ranks. Or that company comes on and they're like, hey, we're going to spend to get the ad placements and to be linked with these other things. Or brands reach out to me and they're like, hey, we see that you live stream. Would you feature our products in your
Right.
next live stream?
Hmm.
So that's like another way as an influencer to leverage your platform and make it financially viable.
Yeah, not to go too off topic, but I really love what you've been doing with Amazon Live. And I feel like it's kind of a new phenomenon because live streaming, I come from the gaming live streaming world. And it's so great to kind of see like it's kind of like QVC in 2022, almost. Like it's being live streamed. And I think that's like the new medium for influencers to really take a part of and take advantage of.
Yeah, well, when I started with Amazon Live, I started in their beta program in 2019. I
Hmm.
was already accustomed to live streaming on YouTube. And it was
Right.
because some days I'd be like, I cannot get this edit done. I'm just going to live stream and get in some
Yep.
watch hours.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I developed an ability to live stream and do skincare
Hmm.
while live streaming, which is not necessarily something that everyone is skilled to do initially.
No.
It's a learned art, just like gaming and paying attention. Like it's a learned art.
Yeah, live streaming is
And
very different than curating content in a video format. It's a different beast.
well, yeah, because the whole point of live streaming is to engage with
Hmm.
the comments, with the situation. And then I'm also talking about a product and literally using it.
Right, yeah.
So it's like a trifecta. Oh, and also when I'm live streaming for Amazon Live, I also have TikTok Live going too. So I'm able to
Yep.
kill both platforms simultaneously. So, anyways, yes, it live streaming the beauty content. When I got on there, I was like, this is my own QVC. And it
Right.
really is like that. And
Hmm.
sometimes there'll be lightning deals, and you're like, you guys, there's like two left at this price. You
Right.
have to
Yeah.
get in now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty iconic. That's iconic. Okay, so we had a great time at the Beauty Expo. I'm looking at my notes right here so I can like, stay on topic and not be here for 5 hours with you because we could be here for 5 hours talking.
I'm a
Uh
talker. I'm a
yeah.
talker.
How did you spend your time in Korea outside of the expo? So you got some luxurious things done, some facials. What else did you do in Korea while you were there?
Yeah. Well, right. So it was pretty quick. Oh, a lot of time is spent in traffic in Korea,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
fair enough.
It's like trying to cross Manhattan every day. It's
Hmm.
just pretty intense. And while we were there, it was also some kind of national holiday that I did not realize was going to happen.
Oh, okay.
So that also impacted the streets.
Hmm.
So, I mean, eating in Korea is one of my favorite things. Lots of brands and vendors took us out for meals. I love eating at the Four Seasons, so I
Hmm.
I really videoed my breakfast like every day because
Hmm.
I'm that girl. I'm
Yeah.
that girl sitting at a table videoing my breakfast.
Yep.
Um, but what's funny about it is that it like brings some attention, and then I made new friends. So one of the things that I
Yeah.
love to do while I'm traveling, especially at like a Four Seasons type of hotel or a JW internationally, is I feel like networking is a really strong part of what I
Hmm.
do.
Hmm.
And so the breakfast time is a great time to network.
Yeah.
And like I made a couple different key people while I was there at breakfast.
That's awesome.
And then I filmed the Four Seasons. I then got special permission to film the Korean spa, which I did do 2 years ago, but I wanted to redo it.
Yeah.
So they allowed me to do that, which was really kind of them. I spent a lot more time in the sauna and the spa than I had previously. So I enjoyed
Mm.
that. And what else? I because of the holiday, the Four Seasons was overbooked for spa treatment, so I
Yeah.
couldn't get a facial there. So it was good because it pushed me out, and we went to I think we went to the Westin, which was just like a couple blocks over, and I had the most fabulous Valmont facial. It was this V
Ooh.
plump facial. I have a video on it, and definitely that is a facial to seek out.
Okay. That's cool.
And then
That's
shopping
awesome.
and shopping.
Gotta get
Lots
some
of
shopping in. Gotta get
yeah.
some shopping in. That's cool. So the next section, the last section I have is about K-beauty in general. We know that you're a big fan of Korean beauty, and we know that a lot of other Americans are huge fans of K-beauty. Why do you think K-beauty has had such a huge influence on Americans?
I think number one, when K Beauty came to the US in
Hmm.
probably like 2014, 2015,
Yeah.
like with SoCo Glam and stuff, like when it
Hmm.
first started getting promoted, the price points were so low. Like I don't remember what website it was, but I remember going on the website and like spending $200 and getting, it's like the first time you ever shop The Ordinary. And you're
Hmm.
like, oh my gosh, everything's like $6. How do I
Right.
choose? I'm just going to get everything.
Right.
And that was how it was with K Beauty. I felt like the price points were crazy cheap.
Hmm.
They typically have really cute, fun packaging.
Yeah.
And then their products, I feel like you get a lot of these like unique toners that we just never see in the US. So I think when they came to the US at a really cheap price point, they had cute packaging. I just think the marketing was on point to
Yeah.
become a surge factor.
Hmm. I could definitely see that because I have some friends of mine who, when they first started getting into K-beauty, that was always the biggest thing they talked about was the price points. They would say, "Oh my God, Joe, like this eye cream is only literally $12." Like, and they would go on shopping sprees and only
Yeah.
spend $100 and have like a huge haul full of products. And so I think
Yeah.
that's a big draw to K-beauty. And again, the uniqueness. I love the uniqueness of K-beauty products. I just tried snail mucin for the first time,
Oh, don't you
and
love it?
I loved it. I loved it. It was really great. I had a really good experience. And so you just don't see a lot of innovation in American products like you see in Korean products.
I think one of the things that's unique about Korea and very different than the US, and one of the reasons I love being there, is that so much of the product in Korea, not just skincare, but clothing, shoes,
Hmm.
headbands, everything is all domestically made.
Mm,
So it's not being made in China and shipped into Korea. It's all being manufactured. So, like all of the skincare, all of it, there's only 3 factories in Korea that make all of the skincare.
right, right.
And then same with the clothing. There's like 5 factories that are making all of the clothing in
Hmm.
Korea. And so I think by staying domestic and then having people come from the US and being like, wow, this is great product, and then importing and distributing, I think that's caused less areas for prices to be increased. And I
Definitely.
think that's why you get a really unique product, a really good quality product, and a really great price point with that product.
Right. Okay, so the next 3 questions are going to be about the differences between Korean beauty and American beauty. Do you think that there's a difference in approach that Koreans take in terms of like how they view skincare? Is there like a different culture of skincare?
Yeah. So in Korea, it is just such a cultural thing to care for your skin.
Hmm. Yeah.
Families go to these Korean spas together. It's not just about their faces, their entire bodies are being taken care of, from the scrubbing to the moisturizing.
Hmm.
I think one of the other differences is that I don't know if this like is a royalty thing or a cultural thing that's come down from royalty, but it's like when you have very clear porcelain, beautiful, firm looking skin, that says a lot about your health to them and a lot
Mm,
about your status. Because in
interesting.
Asia, yeah, in Asia in general, status is more than even here in the US. In fact, I would say the US, in comparison to all countries outside of the US,
Hmm.
has less of a stigma with status than all other countries. All other countries love status and the things that represent status.
Gotcha.
Clean, beautiful skin, high-end bags, whatever.
Right.
So, and then the other aspect in Korea about the skin and their take on it that's different than the US is that Korean products are typically always sourced from organic matter. Like,
Hmm.
I swear they just go into the forest and like see something new and they're like, oh, we're going to turn that into skincare. I
Right.
mean, it's like every single thing that's a skincare product in Korea is coming from some type of sea creature, some kind of plant, some kind of volcano,
Right.
algae. I mean, it's always a plant based or some kind of like insect based product.
Right. That's really interesting. And that's why I think people, again, to reiterate, I think that's why people are so into K-beauty because it's interesting, it's unique, and people are
Yeah.
thinking, maybe this is going to be something that's going to really help my skin because it's different from the norm, and the norm hasn't been working for so many people for so long, so maybe this will be the one. Um,
I
okay,
would also say, oh, really quick, I would
yeah.
also say that one of the major differences is that in the US, and I believe this is changing too in the
Mhm.
US, um, but for the longest time, people who were struggling with acne or felt greasy, it was always about dry yourself out with salicylic acid,
Right.
kill yourself, be, you know what I mean? Like get all that oil stripped off of you as much as possible. And in Asia and specifically Korea, it's all about how much moisture can you pack into your skin.
Hmm.
Even if you're breaking out, it's all about how much moisture can you get into your skin to help soothe it.
Right. I can attest to that because I've watched some videos and I think K-beauty influencers specifically are known to have very long routines. Like, you've got the 10-step routine and 8 of those steps are like hydrating steps. You know what I mean? And I think that hydration is probably one of the key aspects of K-beauty. That's how you can kind of achieve that glass skin because you're getting that constant hydration and moisture into your skin. I think that's kind of
Well,
a
one
hallmark.
one thing that I've seen people do is they might use, and actually I've thought about making a TikTok like this.
Mhm.
They might take this whole bottle and during a session sitting here, I might get this entire bottle infused into my skin by
Wow.
layering it on, drying it down with a fan, layering it in, drying it down with a fan, and you just plump your skin up so much.
What do they call? They have a name for that. Because someone told me to do that and I to use like my essence after
Yeah,
every skincare step.
yeah.
And when I did that, it really gave me a plump, supple, very healthy look. But yeah, that's really cool. Um, okay, so we've got two more questions.
Great.
Obviously, you're no stranger to aesthetic treatments. Um, do you think that there's a difference in the way Koreans view those types of treatments like Botox and filler and microneedling? Is there any difference between how they view those treatments versus how Americans view them?
I think they view them as necessary, and I think US people don't.
Yeah,
I think here in the US, a lot of people still have the stigma that if you choose to do those things for yourself, somehow you're a narcissist or you're vain or you like to waste money or whatever the case
yeah,
is. Why can't you just age gracefully? But my thought has always been I do want to age gracefully. And part of aging gracefully is using the tools that are at hand to help you slow, stave off the
right.
drastic changes that can happen when you hit your 30s or your
Yep.
40s or your
Mm-hmm.
50s. And that's one thing there. No, Korea has the highest population density of Botox in their face. And they don't use Botox because that's an Allergan brand actually. But
Oh, interesting.
when
Okay.
people, yeah, so when people slam me for using KFDA approved toxins in my face,
Mm-hmm.
it's a joke. Korea has like 50 very good utilized KFDA approved toxins that will stop muscle movement in your
Yeah.
skin.
And we have
And
like what, three?
yeah, because they're controlled by Allergan.
Of course. Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
so my point is that when you go there, people look gorgeous. People take very good care of themselves. And there are all of these skin clinics everywhere. So you can just stop in really easily and get your Botox touched up, some filler placed, get oil therapy, which there is called HIFU. They have so many skin lasers.
Mm-hmm.
They're just really ingenious with what they do. They do a ton of mesotherapy. So in the Natural Chaos app, we do a ton of mesotherapy. In fact,
Yeah.
last night I did mesotherapy in my neck,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I'm in a turtleneck. Mesotherapy really helps boost the density and collagen and elastin in your skin. So yes, Korea is fabulous because they utilize the tools and they help develop the tools that the US finally gets
Right.
on board with 10 years later.
I'm so happy you mentioned mesotherapy because I got a viewer question specifically about mesotherapy. Could you talk a little bit about what mesotherapy is and what the benefits are and what your experience has been with mesotherapy?
Certainly, I would say the basic concept of mesotherapy is just infusing vitamins and amino acids and collagen
Mm-hmm.
boosting uh, molecules into your skin.
Okay.
So mesotherapy, like it can be done with microneedling, right? So you can have like a really great meso product that has like
Mhm.
glutathione in it, which is going to brighten your skin. It can
Right.
have PDR in it, which PDRN is salmon DNA. That's also going to boost and help restructure your skin. And just by microneedling with that serum and infusing it into your skin, that is mesotherapy.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now, if you want to take mesotherapy a little bit further, then you can start injecting it in blebs all over your face. And what that helps do is it really helps place it in that meso area of the skin, which is basically between the epi and the dermis. So you have like the epidermis and the dermis. Basically, you're going in that middle area and
Okay.
you're just locking in these vitamins and these skin boosters in those spaces, and those things leach and fill in your skin and
Right.
boost the collagen over time.
So it's very
So
targeted. Okay.
yeah, and so the benefits over time, and look, nothing that's effective happens overnight besides cutting and sewing it back together. Okay,
Right.
so
Right.
even even skin lasers have
Yeah.
a time process to seeing the
Hmm.
change because it's skin, it's organic, it doesn't
Right.
just change because you microneedled one time. So these all take time. Collagen induction takes time, but if anybody ever goes back and watches like old videos from me in 2015 or
Hmm.
whatever, just go see how drastic my
Yeah.
skin used to look and how much better, how much firmer, how much brighter it looks now.
You're aging backwards.
I don't want to be Benjamin Button, that's for sure.
You're definitely aging backwards. I can tell you that. Um, what else do I have for you? Actually, I think that was maybe the last question. Is there anything else you want to share with my audience about your experience, either with the expo or in Korea in general, or maybe talk a little bit more about your app and what you've got going on?
Sure, thanks. Yeah, so number one, I just got back from the Amazon Live
Yeah.
or Amazon Creator Conference or Summit down in LA, which was amazing. Honestly, I was kind of surprised I was invited to it. I'm super grateful I was. And I
Mhm.
just released a video this morning covering that whole event. So if anybody is interested in doing Amazon influencing and they want to see like how Amazon values their creators, I think it's a great video to go watch. You should watch it, Cho. You should be
Definitely.
influencing with Amazon. Um, so that was a great experience for me. I definitely felt valued there, and it was a great networking opportunity too.
Hmm.
I think you can probably relate to the fact that as a digital creator and live streamer and being at home all the time, it can feel very isolating
It
and
can.
lonely. And even though you might see these people online or you might be like, oh, we do the same thing, you're never together.
Right.
And so it was kind of fabulous to be somewhere where you didn't feel like you were the only one photographing yourself in a myriad of ways.
Exactly. Yeah. 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 I totally relate to that. Totally.
And so that was great. The app is continuing to grow. You can find it on the Apple and Android, both store fronts. It's called Natural Chaos. If you search it, it's the largest DIY skincare app in the world. And it's been up since 2020. So we're just past our 2-year mark, and
Congratulations.
and it continues to grow. So what we have now is we have a skin squad who does almost daily lives doing a certain procedure using all of these products from Korea. So when you go to the Korean sites to buy stuff, and you're like, because there's a lot of information lost when it comes to the translation and what these things are. And so I think that that's one of the massive values to the Natural Chaos app, is that we have people who are using these products. We have people who are sharing the procedure, how to use it, what it's about. And it just helps everyone be like, oh, okay, and have more insight into all of these things, which can definitely be very confusing.
Of course.
And I've seen crazy questions all the time, but they're not crazy in the sense like, oh, why did you ask that? They're crazy because I get the fact that there's such limited information that people just don't understand. So the question doesn't make sense.
Right. And, you know, it's a serious thing too. Yeah, it's a serious thing. So you really should be informing and educating.
Yeah. And the goal of the app isn't to be the teacher, right? The goal of the app is to share. Like if you were my neighbor and you came over and you're like, Kim, your skin's looking so good. What are you using? I'd be like, well, I'm using these things and this is how I use them. Right. Because I'm not a professional in any sense. I'm a professional digital creator. That's my profession. I choose to use the medium of skincare to share because that's been the most valuable for me. And it's also helped change my aesthetic, and I love it. So it's super value. And also it's brought me the most incredible community of people who feel like their lives have changed too. So I love having that impact. But again, it's like we're all neighbors on a huge street sharing what we're doing.
Yeah, that's a really great way to put it. That's great. And then tell us about Sponsel. What's going on with Sponsel?
So the reason Sponsel kind of became something I decided to dive into was because, number one, I missed having a YouTube channel. Nobody understands how much I loved my YouTube channel. It has been so crushing for me. It wasn't just the financial loss. It was such an identity loss and something that I loved. It was my art project, and I need that outlet, and I need that value, I guess. And so on the Natural Chaos channel originally, I did share a lot of travel because I was traveling too. And I was just throwing everything out on that channel. Like, it was chaotic. But so with this year, and knowing that I was going to be traveling a lot and filming a lot and those kinds of things, I was like, okay. And knowing that I had previous content from the old channel, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like re-edit and repurpose the old videos onto this new channel while I'm also creating new content. So when you watch that channel, you might see videos that might be 3 years old or 4 years old that I just launched because they're my database of videos. But I'm also trying to stay on top of all the new stuff. I mean, I have so many videos that I have not edited yet that I've been filming for the last 6 months. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to get all those out. Costa Rica, Mexico, Hawaii, a lot of like international business class flights. So and also the lounges. Those actually do really well for me because I think that's kind of a male niche on YouTube.
It is.
And so yeah, it's just an expensive niche, and those guys are not paying for their own tickets because they all like are business travelers to begin with, and they just pick up a camera. But yeah, so I put a ton of money into my content, a ton.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I'm so happy to have you here. Again, thank you so much for the opportunity to discuss all the fabulous things that you're doing. We always appreciate having you here on the channel. And yeah, I think that's where we're going to end here.
I
I'll make sure to put
appreciate
links in the description box for everything that you talked about today, okay?
I appreciate that so much. And you're a great interviewer, and you've always been so generous and kind to me. And I remember when I lost the channel, you were so good to me. And I really appreciate it because obviously I've had a kind of a tough go from a lot of
Yes.
people
Yes.
online.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, you have. But you know what? I love an underdog, so gotta support my friends. And you've been a great friend to me too. So we appreciate you, and we will see you again soon. Everyone, if you like this video, leave a comment below, leave your questions, leave your comments, share this video, and if not, you'll have acne for like the entire year. So don't do that. Like the video, okay?
And dry skin.
And dry skin, yes. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.